It's Wednesday, October 5. In the headlines, JPS plans power outages in specific areas. Regionally, St. Lucia's education minister calls out indiscipline in schools and in sports. West Indies loses to Australia in T20 International. This is the news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. The Jamaica Public Service Limited, JPS, has announced several maintenance-related power outages for Wednesday, October 5 and Thursday, October 6 in sections of at least 9 parishes. Carla Thomas-Hewitt has the list of affected areas.
The Light and Power Company gave notice in a series of tweets. The areas to be impacted on Wednesday, October 5 are Horton Court and Kingsvale in Hanover from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Lancewood Meadows and Boham Spring in St. Anne from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Cedar Valley Road and Cedar Valley Terrace in St. Andrew from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Vermont Avenue, also in St. Andrew, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Bath Mountain to Flower Hill in Westmoreland from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Gordon Penn Main Road to Angels Avenue and Pleasant Farm Road in St. Catherine from 9:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Sections of South Haven, Cornwall Avenue, West Finchley Avenue, and Westdale Avenue in St. Thomas from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. The areas to be impacted on Thursday, October 6 are Spring Village to Camp Verley in St. Catherine from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. St. Clair Road, Alexander Park in St. Thomas from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Jericho, Sandside, Cold Spring, Great Valley, Welcome, Mount Peto, Cash Hill, Birches Hill, Patty Hill in Hanover from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Greensvale Road, Cane River Falls, Beto, and Orange Cove in St. Andrew from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. The vicinity of Old Spanish Bridge in St. Mary from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Hermitage Housing Scheme in Portland. Hermitage Housing Scheme in Portland from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Kinloss and Clarkstown in Trelawney from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Sheffield and Spring Gardens in Westmoreland from 9:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and sections of Michael Manley Drive in St. Catherine from 12 noon to 4 p.m.
Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, says he will bring the Jamaica Customs Bill to Parliament for debate soon. This commitment followed the adoption of the Joint Select Committee's report on the bill at Tuesday's sitting of the House of Representatives.
The Customs Bill consists of 281 clauses and 4 schedules covering 852 pages. Let me say it again, 852 pages. Given the magnitude, importance, and the general public interest of the bill, its effect on the public, on the trading community, on the customs agency, I considered it best to move for the establishment of the Joint Select Committee in order to fully ventilate all aspects of the bill, as well as to give all Jamaicans the opportunity to participate through providing feedback.
The bill seeks to provide a modern framework to enhance ease of doing business.
This modernization is expected to bring benefits for the trading community and the Jamaica Customs Agency by improving customs clearance and revenue collection processes, simplifying procedures for businesses, enhancing the Customs Authority's ability to protect Jamaica's borders, and providing a more efficient service delivery to the public.
The new bill will repeal and replace the existing Customs Act that has been in place since 1941. Members of the public are invited to participate in the government's mobile service fair on Friday, October 7 at the St. Gabriel Anglican Church in Maypen, Clarendon. The fair will begin at 10 a.m. Persons will be able to apply for their passports, birth certificates, and public passenger vehicle licenses. They will also benefit from a number of other services, including free blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and eye checks. Some of the agencies participating include the National Housing Trust, Ministry of Health and Wellness, Registrar General's Department, and the Passport, Immigration and Citizenship Agency. It is part of activities to celebrate National Customer Service Week 2022 and Service Excellence. It's being held under the theme, Celebrating Service Excellence, Reigniting a Culture of Care. October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, an annual campaign to raise awareness about the impact of breast cancer. Let's start with the basics. Who is at risk of getting breast cancer? And when should we get tested? And what are those tests? A mammogram is one way of testing for breast cancer. A mammogram is an X-ray picture of the breast used by doctors to look for early signs of breast cancer. Dr. Deria Cornwall from the University Hospital of the West Indies tells us more.
We encourage women, once they have reached the age of 40, to start doing their mammogram. And we encourage women to do this every year. This is women who have no history of cancer in their family, women who are well, women who don't feel any lumps in their breast. Even if the breast feels normal, we encourage women to start doing their mammogram at the age of 40. Women who have cancer in their family, like breast cancer or ovarian cancer, may need to start doing their mammograms at an earlier age, like even 30. But women who don't have any cancer in their family, we encourage them to start doing their mammogram at the age of 40 and to do this every year. This practice of doing the mammogram every year would ensure that if at any point a cancer is present, we catch it early, very early. And we know that early detection gives the best possible chance for a cure. As a matter of fact, cancers caught early are even less costly to treat than cancers that are found late.
Hi, good afternoon. How can I assist?
I have a 2 o'clock appointment to get my mammogram done.
Let me see your slip. I'm seeing where you're a bit early, but what I'm going to ask you to do, I'm going to ask you to have a seat, fill this form out, and I'll get your mammographer to be with you shortly.
Thank you.
Completed everything?
Yes, sir.
Let me just check. Have a seat for me. Your mammographer will be with you shortly.
Okay. Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Please follow me. How are you today?
I'm a bit nervous, to tell you the truth.
Oh dear, no need to be.
Okay.
After we're finished, you would see that it wasn't anything to worry about. Did you wear any deodorant today?
No, I didn't. I followed the instruction on the...
Very good. This is our change room. And you'll need to remove the top and the brassiere. I left a gown for you right here. Please put the gown on with the opening towards the back. And I'll come back right here and get you.
Okay, thank you.
Sanitize your hands. And come and have a seat. Kindly have a seat on this chair. Be careful, the chair is on wheels.
Thank you.
I read the questionnaire, and you said that you had a mammogram before. That was quite some time now. I'm going to take at least 4 images, 2 of each breast, because we examine both breasts in 2 different positions. And I'll guide you as I go along. I'll let you know what I'm doing, and I'll tell you what I want you to do so that we can work together, okay?
Okay.
Any questions for me?
Last time I did a mammogram, like 2 years ago somewhere else, it was so painful. And right now I'm kind of wondering if I should do it still.
Look, women, my fellow ladies, I know that there's a myth out there, or there's this saying that mammograms are painful and very uncomfortable. Let me debunk that and tell you straight up that mammograms done properly are not painful. Maybe just a little discomfort, but not painful. Mammograms done with the proper technique. So we encourage women to come and get their mammograms done, and to choose a time in the month when the breast is not as tender. For example, do your mammograms after the menstrual period when the breast itself is less tender than before the period when the breast itself may be more tender. That may make the process a little more comfortable.
A Jamaican delegation is in Guyana participating in several engagements with relevant government entities and senior government officials. The delegates, who are led by Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce, Senator Auburn Hill, is to explore opportunities with approximately 45 targeted potential business partners in Guyana. Jamaica and Guyana have experienced very good bilateral relations over the years. Recently, both countries agreed on the planned reactivation of the Guyana-Jamaica Joint Commission. Senator Hill notes that key areas of collaboration include agribusiness, financial services, infrastructure, manufacturing, and professional services. Stay with us for more stories in the world of business, including updates from the world markets. Danita Rodney is at the business desk.
The Micro, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprise Alliance is raising concerns about the government's plans to introduce paid paternity leave in the workplace. President of the MSME Alliance, Donovan Wicknell, said while it is a noble proposal, there needs to be a discussion on how it is going to be paid for, with small businesses struggling to make ends meet due to inflation and soaring commodity prices. Earlier this year, Minister of Finance and the Public Service, Dr. Nigel Clark, announced plans to increase paid maternity leave from 40 days to 3 months for public sector employees, and also disclosed that for the first time in the public service, paternity leave will be introduced for fathers. For your market updates, in foreign exchange trading for Tuesday, October 4, the US dollar sold for an average of $153.61. The Canadian dollar ended trading at $113.54. The pound sterling traded for $173.32, and the euro sold for an average of $152.24. In GSE trading, the GSE index declined by 1,429 points. The junior market index declined by 59 points. The combined market index declined by 1,871 points. And the All Jamaican Composite Index declined by 4,027 points. Overall market activity resulted from trading in 116 stocks, of which 48 advanced, 53 declined, and 15 traded firm. Stocks advanced for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited Verbal Preference, 1834 Investments Limited, and AMG Packaging and Paper Company Limited. Stocks declined for 138 Student Living Jamaica Limited, Access Financial Services Limited, and Burrito Investments Limited. Trading firm were Blue Power Group Limited, CAC 2009.5% Cumulative Redeemable Preference Shares, and Carreros Limited. The overall volume leaders were Fostrich Company Limited with over 16 million units, One-on-One Educational Services Limited with over 3 million units, and Wigton Wind Farm Limited ordinary shares with over 1 million units. In regional stocks, in Trinidad and Tobago, Clico Investment Fund was the only active security posting over 20,000 shares. On the Barbados Stock Exchange, First Caribbean International Bank was the volume leader with 1 million shares. They were followed by Government of Barbados Bond Series B, trading over 160,000 shares, and Goddard Enterprises Limited with 25,000 shares. In regional business, the Central Bank of the Bahamas, CBB, says it is conducting a public survey to obtain feedback on different experiences of businesses when opening deposit accounts at the commercial banks in the country. The survey comes in the wake of an announcement by the European Union finance ministers that the island, as well as Anguilla and the Turks and Caicos Islands, being added to the EU tax havens blacklist because they facilitate offshore structures and arrangements. In market data for oil was steady after gains in recent days, despite a tight market and opposition to cuts from the United States and others. Brent crude was up 2 cents at $91.82 a barrel, while West Texas Intermediate crude fell 5 cents to $86.47 a barrel. And that was the business report on PBCJ. I'm Danita Rodney.
In regional news, Antigua and Barbuda and Japan marked a major milestone in their diplomatic relations on Tuesday. Both countries celebrated 4 decades of close ties and outlined prospects for even closer collaboration. Garfield Burford reports.
The flag of Japan being raised at the office of the Prime Minister on Tuesday, followed by the flag of Antigua and Barbuda. The countries' respective rousing anthems played. It was a celebration of 4 decades of diplomatic engagement which started on this date in 1982. Foreign Affairs Minister Honorable E.P. Chet Green thanked Japan for the key role it has played in the Twin Island states' development.
Japan over the years has provided support in technical areas and critical areas such as management of coastal fisheries, disaster mitigation, agriculture, water harvesting, and solid waste management.
The newest unit at the Fries Beach Reverse Osmosis plant was a grant from Japan, another testament to how close these two states have been. The Asian country also stood with the Twin Island state in the aftermath of hurricane damage 5 years ago.
My government will forever be grateful for the timely support extended by Japan following the passage of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. The provision of equipment and materials greatly assisted our nation with the national recovery effort.
A senior Japanese official was on hand for the occasion, Parliamentary Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs Akimoto Masatoshi. He spoke through a translator of the areas of cooperation between both states and the bonds which have cemented their partnership.
Over the past 40 years, our two countries have shared fundamental values such as freedom, democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. And we have strengthened cooperation and friendship.
Parliamentary Vice Minister Akimoto also expressed his gratitude to Antigua and Barbuda for hosting the Eastern Caribbean Ministerial Meeting on Fisheries and Sustainable Use of Living Marine Resources. That two-day conference started on Monday at the Tradewinds Hotel. Both countries have also committed to expand and strengthen diplomatic relations.
Guyanese who are looking to live, work, invest, and be schooled in the United States or Canada will have the opportunity to make direct links to gain employment and be enrolled in school on October 22, 2022 at the Immigration Expo. Immigration lawyer Kinda Veloza promises endless possibilities and support to secure visas to any part of the world.
So this trip is the office launch, Global Immigration Services. So just as the name suggests, it's going to be focusing on everything immigration, from Canadian immigration, U.S. immigration, and also one of the services that I'm providing is basically preparing non-immigrant visas for Guyanese. For anywhere in the world they need a visa to go to. So if they want to go to India, Dubai, Singapore, wherever it is, they could come to my office for that type of assistance.
But accompanying that office launch is also a major expo that you will be doing.
Yeah.
Do you want to provide the details of that?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm so excited about the Immigration Expo. It is slated for October 22nd. Between the hours of 1 to 3 o'clock. It's going to be in the Atlantic Boardroom at Pegasus in the new corporate building. The expo is going to be phenomenal. Myself is going to be there, and then we're going to have two additional immigration lawyers. One from Canada. She's going to be focusing on all things Canadian immigration. Right. And then I'm going to cover everything family immigration. And when I say family immigration, the petitions that starts with family members. Then we're going to have the third attorney. Her focus is going to be primarily on business and employment immigration. So if persons are interested in working in the United States or investing in the United States, then that's going to be the focus. We have a lot of information that day.
Right. I know it's a lot of information, but just two key things that people could look forward to. Two key queries that you think you could answer on the spot for people and provide certain clarity.
So first and foremost, student visas. That's one of the things that I want to push here in Guyana, because I realize that there's not much information and there's a lot of misinformation on the process. So I'm going to be pushing student visas. And with that being said, we're going to have College Pass Recruitment Canada, which is a recruitment company that's going to be on site. They're going to be recruiting students who wants to live or study in the US, Canada, and even Australia.
In St. Lucia, Education Minister Sean Edward, ahead of Tuesday's pre-cabinet briefing, said he fully agrees with the St. Lucia Teachers Union President's comments regarding acts of indiscipline and violence in schools. The minister's comments came against the backdrop of a viral video of a student displaying disrespectful behavior to his teacher ahead of Teachers Appreciation Week.
Calls for the Ministry of Education to issue a statement after a viral video of a student exhibiting disrespectful behavior to his teacher were made by the St. Lucia Teachers Union SLTU President Don Howell on Friday, September 30th. Education Minister Sean Edward, ahead of Tuesday's October 4th pre-cabinet briefing, responded to the SLTU concerns by denouncing acts of violence and indiscipline in schools. The minister says this type of behavior oftentimes is in direct correlation with what is happening in society.
Some of what you see in schools today is a reflection of what obtains in the wider society. And that has been happening from time immemorial. If you have acts of rampant indiscipline in the wider society, there's a very great possibility that this will infiltrate the school system.
Edward says he will not hoist a white flag of submission. His ministry will work closely with teachers and principals to face these acts of disrespect head-on.
The challenges continue to mount, and I can assure you that the cadre of principals and teachers we have working with the Ministry of Education, we are prepared to take on the acts of indiscipline. We will, as much as possible, provide psychosocial support for the students of our country.
Edward's comments come ahead of World Teachers' Day, celebrated Wednesday, October 5th. A former educator himself, Edward disclosed he is well versed in the challenges faced by individuals within the profession. He says teachers go beyond the call of duty on a daily basis to ensure the needs of those in their care are met, and he is calling on the nation to say thank you to those teachers, especially this week.
But just for this week, as the world observes and recognizes and salute teachers for their contribution, I'm asking all of the population to rally around the teachers of our country and tell them thank you, eyeball them, give them a little token of appreciation, because as I said, on a daily basis they call upon to go beyond the call of duty to provide the best possible educational experience for our children.
St. Lucian teachers are observing Teachers Week from October 1st to October 8th, 2022.
In international news, the first preliminary hearing looking into the United Kingdom government's COVID-19 pandemic response has opened, with a promise to get to the truth in a process that will not drag on for decades. Charlie Angela from Al Jazeera reports.
That's Yeah, that's my dad and that's my eldest. So
the last time Amanda Henry saw her father, Robert, looking well in a care home, the country was locking down against coronavirus.
He was quite a character. He was, always joking, always singing.
4 weeks later, he was dead, with COVID-19 as the cause of death.
So his ashes
now sit in her living room. She blames the government's decision to discharge people from hospitals into care homes without testing them for COVID first.
There were so many failings. When they said that priority testing was going to happen for elderly residents in care, that didn't happen. That was not happening. When they said they were putting this steel ring around vulnerable people in care homes, that didn't happen at all.
It's decisions like this that the COVID inquiry will examine, starting with how prepared or unprepared the country was for a pandemic.
There is one word that sums up the pandemic for so many, and that is the word loss. My principal aim is to produce reports and recommendations before another disaster strikes the four nations of the United Kingdom.
Independent of the government, the inquiry will go on to look at the political decisions made during the pandemic and the impact on the healthcare system.
In sports, Australia won the first of two T20 international matches against West Indies on Wednesday. The Aussies won by 3 wickets with 1 ball left in hand. West Indies 145 for 9, the Aussies 146 for 7. West Indies will have to go through the qualifiers to reach the Super 12s, so these 2 matches are important opportunities to get into gear. Nicholas Puran spoke to the press before the match.
Ranked at number 6 in the MRF ICC T20 international standings, Australia's T20 performances have fluctuated over the past few years. As for the West Indies, they have seen better days, but according to Limited Overs captain Nicholas Puran, each player has a specific duty in this new generation team.
Roles and responsibility and accountability. We sat down and spoke to players about, which part in the game you're responsible for, and the guys actually like that. And starting with today in practice, obviously we wanna have the right mindset.
Puran took the time out to express how he felt on Hetmeyer being left out.
Decisions have been made. There's consequences for your action. At the moment, I just want to focus on why we're here and how we're gonna achieve our goals.
When asked on Shamar Brooks's inclusion, Puran said,
"Yeah, he's definitely an experienced cricketer. He has been in our setup, wild ball setup for the last year. He's been doing fantastic. He had a really good CPL as well. Coming off that century, obviously he's replacing Hetmeyer, and he has a vital role to play for us as well."
The Windies begin their qualifying process on Sunday against the United Arab Emirates, but the skipper noted having Australia first up is perfect preparation.
At the same time, our main focus is obviously, World Cup qualifiers first, but in saying that we have an opportunity to play against, obviously Australia. And we need to be smart as well. Our number one priority is obviously, we're getting ready for that qualifiers, but in saying that we use these games here, obviously we want to win. But we need to be smart as well. We need our players fresh and ready for when that qualifier starts.
Man of the match, Australia's skipper Aaron Finch scored 58 runs from 53 balls despite Australia slipping to 58 for 5 in the 8th over, sharing a 69-run 6-wicket standing with Matthew Wade. Finch says he batted down the order to let all-rounder Cameron Green continue opening, but said there were likely to be changes for the second game in Brisbane on Friday as his team prepares to defend its T20 World title. A blazing start from left-handed opener Kyle Mayers, who heaved a 6 over extra cover and hit 5 boundaries in his 39, and contributions from Smith, 27, against a full-strength Australian bowling attack were good signs for the West Indies batting, although shot selection and impatience were costly. West Indies will play 2 T20s against Australia this week and 2 unofficial warm-up matches in Melbourne next week before beginning the preliminary round of the T20 World Cup in October against Scotland in Hobart. And that's it for the news on PBCJ. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. And please remember, we are the People's Station.